Welcome back. It's the Gridiron Logic Show. I am your host, Mac Young. Big game previews and recaps, hot topics, ballers and ball droppers. Any and everything football, you found it here. Thank you for tuning in. It's the Gridiron Logic. We have fun. So, let's jump right to it. NFL football. NFL football, newcomer rookie this season. The stash is cash. The stash is cash. Who am I referring to? By me just saying that, you guys should already know because he's kind of a rock star already. But Gardner Minshew II in Jacksonville, the stash. The stash is cash. Just how good is Gardner Minshew really? Is this a guy? Is he for real? Is he for real? As we're asking ourselves about a lot of guys in the NFL this year. But Gardner Minshew II is a special case. It was drafted in the 6th round to basically sit behind Nick Foles, pick his brain, learn, develop, just kind of take his time. However, that time was absolutely vanquished, just disintegrated whenever Nick Foles fell to injury, and Gardner Minshew had to basically step in, take over as the number 1 QB. Talk about baptized by fire. Week one. Here you go, young fella. The offense is yours. However, Gardner Minshew came in, stepped right in, grabbed the bull by the horn, and kind of took over and surprised a lot of people. Week 1, he stepped in, went 22 of 25, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. You really can't ask for a better performance than that for someone not really preparing to start, even though you should prepare like that every week. Not really preparing to be the number 1 guy, and then to get thrown in there like that to step out and perform that way. It definitely took notice. People had to say, hey, who is this guy? What's going on? People started to dig into him. So now the spotlight's kind of on him, right after stepping in. And now people are like, okay, he had a good week 1. So what does that mean now? Is that going to continue to build? Is that going to continue to grow? So we go on to week 2. And in week 2, of course, he picked up right where he left off, going 23 of 33, 213 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Actually had 6 carries for 56 yards, almost 10 yards a carry. So he came out again in week 2 after playing in week 1, grabbing a lot of attention, came out again in week 2 and balled out again. So, of course, the wheels are still turning. Who is this Gardner Minshew guy? So he's starting to draw even more attention. People are starting to talk about him a lot more. Starting to dig into, who he is and if he is for real. And when you do some digging, I think you kind of find out that he's a mature guy and he's a wise person. He's a wise guy. Not as in cracking jokes, but he's wise as in he knows what he needs to do to become great. Whatever it is he wants to become great at. This is a guy coming out of high school who, of course, could have gone to some schools and been the number 1 guy. However, he wanted to coach, and he felt like even though he would go to Alabama is where he wanted to go and be a 3rd-string quarterback, that would be ideal for him because he would play under Nick Saban, arguably one of the greatest college coaches in history. He would be able to pick his brain, learn from him, from being around him day to day as a 3rd-string quarterback, and of course, hope that translates into him soaking in some of his knowledge and becoming a great coach. However, the record books did not go that way. He ended up kind of, going from place to place, doing different things, building his way to where he is now, ultimately ending up in Washington State and breaking records in Washington State. But of course, you can see that he was wise as of he had a plan. I'm going to go to Alabama. I'm not going to really play a lot. I understand that. I'll be a 3rd-string guy, but I have an end goal. I have a plan for an end goal. Showing his wisdom right there in an early age. So I think, of course, that translates well on the field, of course. Along with athleticism, you have to be an intelligent person, especially to play the quarterback position. You have to be wise, which I think he exhibits. So, of course, he did the same thing. He broke records in the Pac-12. He actually finished 5th in the Heisman voting. So this is absolutely a guy who has the ability, who has the capabilities of putting up big numbers or really leading an air attack. But he's a wise guy. He's a great teammate. He's himself. People know he's genuine. It's easy to kind of roll with a guy like that. A guy that's just himself through and through. He's a team guy. The spotlight really doesn't affect him much. Obviously, that doesn't change him. So he was at the Washington State game with some personalized cutoff jean shorts. The spotlight, the attention, the cameras, the lights, all of that doesn't really affect this guy, it seems, at least so far, because he's kind of playing through that. Lots of pressure. He's one thing he's doing is you can tell he's studying the game, which will explain, because he wanted to be a coach after all. Like I said a little earlier, wanting to go to Alabama as a third string and play under Nick Saban. So he's definitely a student of the game, wants to learn the game, wants to know the game. It's clear because the way he handles himself on the field. He also recognizes things very quickly at the quarterback position. There was a play here this past Thursday where a free blitz came. He noticed it right off, checked down, tried to get it there real quick. It was a misplaced. I think he threw it to D.D. Westbrook, if I'm not mistaken. Had D.D. Westbrook been expecting it, he may have caught it and taken it for 6. But little things like that, Gardner Minshew recognizes as a young quarterback. And so I think that's important, and that's notable. He also seems very confident, very comfortable. The moment is not too big for him. It seems he embraces the moment in a different type of manner. He just kind of goes along right with it. He not really rides the wave. He is the wave. The stash is cash. He's his own person. And right now in the NFL, he's kind of showing that. He's displaying his maturity. He's displaying his ability. Nick Foles get well soon. However, for the time being, Jacksonville's in good hands with Gardner Minshew. And of course, for the foreseeable future, if anything were to go left with Nick Foles, it feels pretty good to know you have a guy like Gardner Minshew behind him. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens when Nick Foles is healthy, depending on how the team is rolling, of course. But hey, man, needless to say, the basis of this video, of course, was to just, hey, I'm definitely a supporter as well. He's kind of made me a believer after watching him play a couple weeks. Gardner Minshew II, salute. The stash is cash. That's the phrase, man. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for your attention as always. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to drop a comment. If there's a topic you want to hear, drop it. It's the Gridiron Logic. Till next time, salute.